Welcome to Living a Life by Design. It's the journey back to you and living 365 days of purpose with your host, Esther Graham. Did you know your accountability and possibility is by design? God designed a phenomenal life for you, gave you the gift of choice. Esther helps empower you to discover and pursue the purpose that is already in you. Are you ready to look at yourself and see your future? Then get back to what is really important in life and get in alignment with your true self. Stay tuned to Living a Life by Design. Journey back to you and start living 365 days of purpose with your host, Esther Graham. It all starts now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome again to Living a Life by Design. I am so super excited that you are here today. We have a phenomenal guest that I'm excited to share with you. Michelle Snow of I Grow with Snow from Philadelphia. So, guys, we have someone that's from the local area, and that is just so good. I'm super excited about that. I'm excited to share you with her because in our short time that we have just connected and known each other, I've observed and I've watched that the powerful work that she is doing in the community to empower leaders, to empower CEOs, to empower students. She is doing phenomenal things. And I thought everybody globally needs to hear about Michelle Snow. So please join me and let's welcome Michelle Snow. Michelle, if you can just give us, just reintroduce yourself and let's get started with our conversation.
Well, whenever you come into someone's house, the best thing to do is to always to greet them. So I want you to know, Dr. Graham, I'm honored that you thought enough of me and our work to be on your show. And sometimes people have these moments just for protocol purposes, but I understand that I'm talking to a woman who has phenomenal experience, genuine experience, and that you have experience that is measurable. And the fact that you thought enough of me to be on your platform, I am tremendously grateful. And so your question to me is, well, who the heck is this Michelle person, right? So I will say my short answer is I am a girl from North Philadelphia, born and raised, and I'm an only child who didn't have a lot of playmates. And so as a woman, I have playmates all over the world in the name of business. And I get a chance to be a sister, a friend, and an auntie in business, so to speak, to help people to grow and expand, quite frankly, their wildest dreams.
I love it because I love that you help people to grow and expand their wildest dreams. And I think this is what living a life by design is about. I think that we're designed, right? We're created to live our wildest dream and not live in mediocrity. And sometimes it's hard for us to realize that and to know that. But what I know about you is that you have a powerful story, that, you have something that's just so powerful that motivates you to serve and just to do the phenomenal things that you do. So, would you like to share that with us today?
Sure, sure. Now, to everyone who's listening, this is unscripted and uncut, right? So this is just
Yes.
me and Dr. Graham having a girls' conversation in front of the whole world, so to speak, right? So if there's something that I miss in this point, just go ahead and tell me to lean more into something that you want the audience to hear. So my story began like so many other women of color, people who grew up in a religious or church background. So as a child, my foundation was I learned all of my character skills, my people skills, my building skills, quite frankly, in the church. I grew up in a Pentecostal environment and in the 80s. So that meant that we didn't have the beauty of artificial intelligence and anything digital. So everything was hands-on, it was real, it was raw. And so that's the grit of who I am. And for those of you who can identify growing up in a faith-based home with parents and cousins and all of that other good stuff, you know that you were in church all the time.
All the time.
Okay, all the time, right? And just to make this home for those of you who had a different background, all the time meant Wednesday night Bible study, Friday night service, Saturday special event, and Sunday morning from Sunday school to evening service, which was about 4 different services. So we ate at the church as well. And let's not talk about if the next week was revival, because that meant we were back on Monday night, every single night till 7 o'clock. Okay. So all the time literally means that. But I'm emphasizing that, right? Like I want you all to hear that part of my story, because that meant the foundation of me was all about people, building, resilience, donating, giving, charitable services, right? So, and I'm an only child. So when I would get to church, everyone is like an extension of my family. So the beauty in that, Dr. Graham, which is why I wanted to spend some significant time with that, is the church prepares women like me to authentically serve others without manipulation.
Mm.
Mostly, right? There's always a few in the pot that don't have that mindset, but mostly, right, we come into this wonderful world of business with our God and our mindset and our grit and our tenacity and our skill set. And I'll let you in a couple of other little foundational things, and then we can move over to my second act, which was corporate America. A couple of things that I also want you to know that I gained while in my young youth in the church is that I learned how to play the drums, and I was pretty good. Okay. Um, Dr. Graham, my nickname, you ever watch the Muppets? Remember the little
Yeah,
animal guy?
yeah.
That was my nickname. They like, get him animal, right? So I'd be tearing those drums up for all those services. I was also a director over a lot of ministries. So I learned leadership development there because I had to get the ushers to do their job and the choir to do their job and the kids to do their job. So now I'm a grown woman with all of this character building skills. But unfortunately, I found out as a young woman that the church also had a dirty little secret that no one knew how to talk about. And that was that we knew how to do church and people so well. We didn't have a clue about the real world. You know what I mean?
Not a clue. Not a
Okay.
clue.
We were taught to just take the oil to the job, which I'm cool with that. Like I'm not hating on the oil at the
Pray
job. Okay,
about it. Pray about it. Just pray about it. Pray about
right? Take
it.
that oil to that job and shamana and in the bathroom and God's gonna work it out, right? And so
Yeah,
there's truth to that. There is truth to that, but that's not the whole story.
yeah.
So I was wildly successful in corporate America as a worker, right? Like they could depend on me to get a job done with grit in the worst conditions under any circumstances, because you learn those skills working with the grassroots church communities. Um, but the other stuff,
Mm.
right? Like the other stuff, the self-esteem in the workplace and learning how to meet people where they are in the workplace and see these different cultures come together and know my worth beyond a dollar sign, right? Beyond my paycheck. And I just dealt with so many setbacks financially. I didn't understand the beauty of travel. You just said at the beginning of this call that you were running with zebras. What?
Trekking with the chimps. Trekking with the chimps going to the safari. Oh, it was crazy. Yeah.
So these are the things you discover, like, wait, not everybody was eating peanut butter and sugar sandwiches. Not everybody just stayed in their city. So you're exposed to all of these cultures and people who have funding and treasuries and all of that. And so what happens is, because I know we're getting ready to get to break, what happens is without the right training and mentorship, you've got this beautiful position in this corporate environment. You're making more money than you ever had, but now you feel less than. And you start messing around with this thing that I can't stand, which is imposter syndrome.
Exactly.
And so now your self-esteem is going down, you're overworked, And then you're depressed and you're sick, and then you got all kinds of other things happening. So that was the genesis of how I got started. But I thank God that that was just the foundation. And then my next part, we're going to talk about how we use that foundation to climb and to go to another level.
I love it because the church was my foundation as well. I mean, I'm a PK, preacher's kid. I was born in the church parsonage. And if anyone doesn't know what a parsonage is, where I come from, that's where the church owns the house that the pastor and his family lived. So I was born on a Sunday morning while they were in church in the church parsonage, right? And that was my whole life. That was all I knew. And I love how you just kind of put it together and say that was the genesis, that was the beginning. That is really the foundation of having the heart to serve and the resilience. I remember one time, so I'm not originally from the United States, but I remember when we moved to America and my father was pastoring. And oh my gosh, I was so tired, Michelle. I didn't want to go to church on this Wednesday Bible study. And I decided, I'm in America now and I could speak my mind as this teenager. And I told my father, oh, I'm not going. He said, oh, no, you're going. And so, of course, I said, okay, fine, I'm going, but I'm not going to listen to anything you say in Bible study.
I want to do this. I'm not going to listen.
Yeah. And so, I just went through again that period of, I just don't want to do this anymore. So when Michelle says church all the time, it's resilience. And yet there's this other piece that they don't teach you in church. And that's the piece I want to get to when we come back talking about the corporate, because when I stepped into corporate America, it was a rude awakening. Yeah, I found out that I just couldn't just pray about stuff. Not and listen, and prayer is the foundation. It does move, but you got to do some things. You can't what did I used to say? I said you can't be shouting on Sunday morning.
Yes, and that is how a lot of us enter. But because we find mentors like ourselves, we can
Yeah,
rise up.
we can rise up. We're going to take a quick break, everyone, and come back with some more powerful conversation with my special guest, Michelle Snow. Welcome back to Living a Life by Design with me, your host, Dr. Esther Graham. I'm so super excited that once again you have made the decision to join me for another powerful conversation. And here we are, y'all. We're with Michelle Snow, and excuse me, we were talking about church. We're going to talk about corporate America. We're going to talk about everything that pertains to your life and where you want to go and what you want to do. So, Michelle, let's continue this powerful conversation. We began with your foundation, and you talked about the foundation of the church and and how it really built leadership skills in you, resilience, and so many other skills that it's amazing because as I'm listening to you, I thought, oh wow, we went to the same church almost. Um, in two different parts of the country, but maybe the same church, because there's so much likeness in what we experience, right? And I love what you said about it was the foundation, it's what built you. However, you know, you had to make a decision to, let's just say, gently move out so you could get a different perspective, so you could hear other things, because many people don't know, and many do, that it's just not enough to pray. It's just not enough. It's not even enough, and we know this, to have faith and do all of these different things. I hear it all the time. Well, I'm just believing, I'm trusting in God, and you should. But then here's the next step. What are you doing? I often think, right, and we're going to talk about your next step and just continue. I often think, and I'm speaking as a Christian here, that many times we use scripture, if you're a Christian, or you could be Muslim, you could be whatever, and we use religion or God as an excuse as to not do something.
Yes. Yeah,
That's just
we'll
my
we'll
personal.
use it as failure, right? We will fail ourselves into submission.
Yeah.
And so that was what was happening, right? So now I'm working, and just so that you can be clear about this transition, I am a very young woman of color. I'm in the workplace primarily with people who are not from an ethnic background.
Yeah.
I'm usually the only one on the team that is a Black female. And so I'm surrounded by a lot of difference, but I'm also packed full of what my family thought would be wisdom to help me, but some of it turned into toxicity, right? So, of course, most Black women in America, we hear stories like you got to work, twice as hard as everybody else to be represented. So there's truth to that, but that's also a lie. Because then what happens is I become, people like me become addicted to overdoing everything,
Yeah.
right? Over serving, over delivering,
Yeah.
and it becoming our normal. Why? Because Nana and Pop Pop and Auntie and Pastor and Cuz all said, they're not going to see you until you work twice as hard. And
Hold
so
on
that
one
means
second. Hold that thought for a minute, y'all. When you see me, just for a quick break, when you see me put my hand up, that means I'm identifying that was me too. If you know that's you and you say, listen, go ahead and heart her up. If you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and comment, heart her up and say, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I was there. I am there. Some of us are still there. Go ahead and don't leave us out here by ourselves. Identify.
yes. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes, please. We want to hear your thoughts. Um so now I'm on a team. This is one of my last corporate jobs in corporate America, working for one of the largest companies in the world with the most employees in the world, leading an HR team, overseeing projects around the country. So I'm not just in a entry level position. However, I am disliked and despised by my team. However, I justified it. Oh, it's because I'm Black, and that's why you don't like me, right? It's because I have a different experience than you. You don't like me. So I justified and used this chip on my shoulder to have peace with the disdain of my entire team. So now I'm wearing it like a badge of honor. And so my big boss, who happened to be a Black woman, it was her at the top and me kind of like at the lower end in this very prestigious role. And she says, I need to talk to you. So she calls me in the office, closed door, and she says, look, I'm gonna just tell you straight up. Great worker. We love your results. You bring value to the team, but honestly, nobody likes you. And if you don't get it together, we're just going to fire you. I said, wait a minute. Okay, wait, hold up. Hold up. You're going to do what? I'm going to lose my good corporate job with benefits. I just got a brand new car, right? Like, that's not happening. So some of the other skills that I got in the church was that I had to always be in plays and showcases. I was a musician. So I said, oh, well, I know how to play. I know how to pretend that I like people. If I pretend that I like you all, can I keep my job? She says, I don't care what you do. But I'm telling you right now, if you don't get it together and if this team doesn't feel better about you, we're firing you. What
Wow.
a wonderful warning she gave me. And she says, I said, well, they don't like it because I keep it real. Okay. Anybody who's in their 40s or 50s, you said to yourself, I'm going to keep it real. Keeping it real was about to get me to lose my job. And she says, you can be open, but you don't have to be so transparent. That
Mm,
was her advice.
mm.
Which I didn't quite get at the time, Dr. Graham, if I'm honest. I'm like,
Yeah.
open, transparent, what? Okay, whatever. But I soon understood that she was asking me to continue to be genuine and authentic, but I don't have to say everything I think and feel.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I want to end this part of the story because there's another glory that I want to get to. So what I started doing was treating my job like a play. So I would come in every day and I would go, "Good morning. Hi, Jan. How was your weekend? Oh my gosh, I'm going to go get coffee. Would you like any?" Now you have to understand, as of the day before, they all hated me because I was the mean Black girl who wouldn't talk to them. 24 hours later, I want to get them coffee. I'm asking about their weekend. I'm smiling. I'm sitting at the cubicle. So we went from mean insanity to another type of insanity. So I didn't care what they thought. I was keeping my good corporate job.
Yeah.
So I kept this up. And after about a week of it, I can see them not thinking it was so strange. And after about 10 days, it didn't feel as awkward to me either. So before I knew it, we were about 3 weeks into it. Again, I'm changing a habit. They say it takes 21 days to change a habit, right? So about 3 weeks into this, it's starting to feel normal. It is starting to feel good. A month in, I was getting praises, accolades, recognition, partnerships, awesome feedback. I mean, my life literally changed. And they gave me an opportunity to learn about behavioral styles and differences. And here's the climax to the story. So I went in with this self-esteem issues, treating people disrespectfully because I thought I had to do that to keep my prestige, to being told you're going to lose your job because you're just mean, you're just rude, even though you're a good worker, to me pretending that I'm playing around with these people to keep in my job, to now turning my brain, mindset, decisions, and behaviors around to genuinely being nice and wanting to build relationships, to getting a new role where I was increased, to finding out, wait, behavior style differences. So I'm more of an aggressor and you're more of one who is melancholy and you like to talk things out. Oh, you don't hate me because I'm Black. You just actually think differently than me. Wait, your style is just not my style, right? So my aggression actually felt like a bully. Oh my God. Like, that was not my intention. I was the bully of the department. So now I'm grieved, right? I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
repentant. So that behavioral change was the catalyst and the genesis to me saying, I don't want to see other people go through the pain that I did from my bias and my ignorance. And so I got this new role as a team lead for behavior style differences. And that's how we walked into this passion for coaching and people development.
Yeah, that is such a powerful story because my mind goes to that's why sometimes, the stereotype of the angry Black woman. You know what I mean? Because, and sometimes it's not even that we're not angry. It's just that we think sometimes this is okay. This is just our reaction to things. But when we get out there and we see different perspective, we see that someone thinks just differently than us, then we really honestly realize that we're really all the same, at least in my opinion, in my experience, that people think that, then I realized, oh, we're all the same. We're just from different backgrounds. And again, coming from Guyana, I had a whole different experience coming, right? Because people just assumed that because they saw my face and my face looked Black, that I was like everybody else. And when they discovered that I wasn't, then they didn't like me. And many times it's because I don't even understand what you're saying to me. you know
Communication style differences.
communication style differences. I remember when I went into corporate America, and they just assumed some things. And they thought that, honestly, for me, they thought I was snobbish, right? They thought I was better than everybody else, and my job was great. And, I was doing a great job, but the same thing. Well, you really don't speak to anyone. And I thought, well, I really don't know them. That was me, and so it's the same type of thing. And I think it just lends to when we make our mind up that we're going to grow and we're going to accept people for who they are and where they are, then we ourselves are you said mindset begins to shift, and I like to add our heart set begins to shift as well. And the two
I
go
like that.
together, the two, there's only 13 inches between the heart and the mind.
Mm.
Know? And so they both have to be in alignment. And so when the mind begins to shift the heart, when the heart begins to shift, the mind begins to shift because they should be in alignment. And when one says yes and one is saying no, then you're not in alignment and there's conflict. But when they come together, then I could embrace you. Because then I begin to see you differently. I can begin to accept this. This is, and I can say, okay, well, it's not what I would do, but let's look at all this. You talked about, authenticity. And I like to say that authenticity is the new currency. People want to see authentic people. I don't necessarily have to agree with you, Michelle, but can we just be authentic? And can we be transparent? And can there be a mindset shift? And can there also be a heart set shift? I think if we begin to really expand ourselves and look at that, I think humanity all around, whether you're religious, not religious, wherever you come from, will begin to shift so many things in the entrepreneurial space, in the business space, and in the leadership space, because we're the ones that's going into the world to make sure everything changes. Make sense?
Oh, Dr. Graham, that was some good teaching right there. Okay. We needed to have that before the break.
So we're about to go to a break and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to Living a Life by Design with me, your host, Dr. Esther Graham. Again, welcome back and thank you for being with us. Let's continue our powerful conversation with Michelle Snow. So, Michelle, let's continue to talk about your transition from, let's just say, your leadership, your resilience from church into corporate America and everything that you're doing.
So let's say now I am building healthy relationships at the job. I am liked. I'm getting Christmas presents for the first time ever. You know, when you start getting Christmas presents from your team members, that says a lot.
It does.
But the company is going through a shift and they are doing layoffs. So I get called into an office and I get laid off. And of course I'm super angry about it. Like I'm furious. Like, how dare you? After all that turning around I did, I still get laid off. Why is this important? I was extremely angry. I resented them doing that to me. Bitter, enraged, and I absolutely sued them. And I'll say that I won. I do want you to know that. So my righteous indignation, it had some merit. But I want to overemphasize how emotionally wrecked I was after losing my good job. Look
Your
at
good
all
corporate
of the,
job, right?
yes, my good corporate job. And so what I'm hoping that you're picking up and me putting this down is, look at all the power I gave to someone outside of me. I gave them the power for me to respond to their decision about their organization with complete disdain. You need to know that because it was shortly after that I found myself fighting for my life. I woke up one day in all of this resentment, bitter, rage, which also led to some toxic behaviors, which also led to a lot of things that I don't even want to talk about anymore. Go check an old podcast from 5 years ago. I was completely reckless. So I woke up one day and I could not breathe, I could not walk, and I could not move. We called the ambulance. They rushed me to the hospital. And by the end of that visit, I was diagnosed with a life-threatening disease that had no cure, which was sarcoidosis. And for those of you who've ever heard of a comedian named Bernie Mac, he's our poster child for someone who had this awful, deadly autoimmune disease that has no cure. It attacks your lungs for most people, but it can attack your heart and your liver. And a lot of times what happens is it's so debilitating that you can no longer breathe or function, and it can take you away. So this is what I'm diagnosed with, and I'm still angry. But now Dr. Graham, I'm sick and angry. So I cannot do the things that I was doing, my reckless behaviors, for some soothing. I'm in the bed 24 hours a day because I can't barely walk. I've got all kinds of pain and dizziness, and I have to move out my house to live with my mom and my grandmother because the house was handicapped and my grandmother could take care of me while mom was at work, just to survive. And they don't know if I'm going to live or not.
Yeah.
This is important. You have to catch this, is because only God can take you completely away from yourself to restore you. It took me being diagnosed with a life threatening, debilitating disease, moving out my house, laying in bed at my mama's house, and grandmom feeding me. And I got on that bed one day and I said, I don't want this.
Mm.
And someone told me that if I repented, forgave those who I felt did me wrong, that God may heal me. So I'm like, but a lot of people did me wrong. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, like this festivity that I'm holding. This
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
the real
Festivity. I
deal here.
like that. I like that.
This festivity is justified, but I'm still sick and I'm in pain and I can't walk. And I said, all right, you know what? Fine. I'd rather just forgive people. Maybe I'll be healed. And so, in my forgiveness of what happened in the workplace, what happened with friends, what happened in my personal life, the reckless, toxic behavior that I was having, I repented of all of it. And then finally, what ended up happening was I started a business for helping people with a clean slate.
Can
And
I stop you
so,
for a minute? Just pin that
yes,
thought for a minute. You said you repented. For those who may not know, what does that exactly mean? What does you repented of? What does that exactly mean for you?
yeah, thank you for making that clear, because you don't want to talk and then people not know what that really meant for me. Repentance for me meant that I had to literally apologize to myself first and foremost. Like, you have beat yourself up way too hard, too long. You're carrying all this bitterness, you're carrying all this resentment, and if you're in a religious community, you want to apologize to the God that you serve, right? Like, higher power, God, however you identify with it. I am sorry for not seeing that I represent you, right? That I have been holding on to pain and toxic energy and untruths to justify me not being my best self. And I'm sorry about that. I am better. I am going to do better. And I'm leaving that behind me. And I'm going to adopt a brand new way of thinking and behaving. And so, in letting away and washing away all of my toxicity, you say it, the toxic word,
Activity. Yeah, yeah.
what she said, yo, I couldn't get it out. I was able to redefine who I was in life. And then that was what the platform was in me starting my own business.
Yeah, so, so, so good. The platform for you starting your own business. It's amazing that how sometimes we really have to hit rock bottom before, let's just say, the greatness that's already in us actually comes out. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so good. So when you moved from that, you started your own business. How did that flow for you? How did that go? How did that begin to expand? Because you're doing so much now, How did that
Yeah.
begin to expand?
Well, I mean, to the audience, Dr. Graham gave me the space to kind of tell you the full story, because what happens is you go to my timeline in this current year and you see me getting multiple awards back to back. You
So
see me
good.
working with schools and institutions. You see me helping small businesses. You see me getting accolades. You see me getting paid. And so what happens is people try to copy that. They try to mirror
Hold on, I'm
that.
sorry. They do. It's a TD Jakes. I'm sorry, I have to interject. TD Jakes that says, "You see my glory, but you don't know my story." Right? You don't know
Come
the
on
behind
here.
the scenes. You don't know what it took me to get to where I am right now. Yeah. So we see you
Yeah.
getting paid.
So this is why I wanted to, I'm glad that you set this hour aside to have this conversation, because when you see all of this glory and this like bookend, right? When you see this bamboo tree result,
Yeah.
please understand that it it blossomed through a long line of mess.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
so I had to get character building in my young life from my church. I had to go into corporate America and bomb and win and bomb and win. Then that wasn't enough. I was sick on my back to find my character. Now I'm out here in business trying to figure out, how do I make money for myself,
Yeah.
right? Keep my integrity, not scam and manipulate people, and do this so that it has sustainability. And so I would say some of the formula that I have as a business owner was that there was complete and total failure the first 5 years. Right? Because I didn't go into this business understanding business. I understood help. I understood creativity. I understood leadership. I understood help in a way that people were willing to pay for it, but I didn't understand the fundamentals of it. So after 5 years of failing, in year six, we started seeing six figures. We started seeing some real financial differences. So here we are in year 12. And I know we've got about a minute before the break. And I'm going to break down some of the key formulas for success when you are in a leadership or working in professional development. So, Dr. Graham, do you want to check in?
Let's check in because listen, we're going to go to a break. However, while we're on break, go get your notepads. If you already don't have it, get your journal, get your pen, get your notepads, whatever you need, get your recording or listen to the replay, right? And jot down exactly what she is saying. This is going to be powerful. And I guarantee you, when you listen and you hear this and you get in action, this is going to change your life. We'll be right back. Welcome back again, everyone. I hope you got your journals, you got your pen, you got your coffee or your juice or wherever you are in the world. You know, it could be your glass of wine. So just make sure you have it all and you're ready to take some notes as Michelle takes us some steps to success. Take it away.
So now that we have climaxed to what have I learned about success? So let me talk to the leader, the business owner, the community person who is overseeing a project. When you are overseeing a people dynamic, some of the top skills that you will need is, one is you have to continue to partner with someone that understands money and wealth. Right? That is just not a cute thing that you'll find on YouTube, something that you'll find on a TikTok. You must have a trusted partner that will literally teach you your understanding of wealth, finances, stocks, investment. Why is this important? Because when you are overseeing people, you can't just be good at your craft.
Right.
Because people have several different layers, many different layers of dynamics. And so their money energy, their money frequency, that is very important for you to be getting aligned with. Because for a long time, I was able to serve effectively people who made a lot more money than me because I'm good at coaching, right? But that frequency and that mindset they had about getting their million or millions of dollars, I was completely removed from that. Having that disconnect also, it impeded my own growth. There was so much more money that I would have today if I had that frequency, that understanding. And so one of the tips that you've probably heard from other coaches is that success loves speed, right? Like, so you want to begin to move quickly. Don't drag your feet on being a better person. Okay, so that's the first part. The next is that you do want to keep your eye on your competitors, but you don't want to watch your competitors, right?
Right.
And so what that means is you don't want to be aloof. You don't want to be removed and have no clue of people who do work the same or similar to you. You don't want to be completely removed from it. But once you start watching them and studying them, not for admiration or information purposes, but to see what you can claw and pull and copy. Oh, she's doing that. Let me do it too. You are absolutely setting yourself for being bankrupt in your character and being bankrupt in your finances
So true.
because all you see is their result.
Yeah,
You
that's
have
right.
no idea. I'm sorry, you saying something?
No, I said that's right. That's true. I'm agreeing.
You have no idea what they did to get that result. Let's just make it plain.
Yeah.
Sometimes people pay for a result and you think that it was authentic or genuine or what they got because they were smarter or knowledgeable, but they literally paid for a result. Okay, let me just make it a little bit more plain to you.
Make
Why
it
don't
plain.
you go ahead and Google go ahead and Google scammers 2025 caught and arrested, okay? Right?
Yeah.
And then go back and try to find those TikToks. I mean, uh, a lot of people were very, very talented in being able to paint pictures of success just to manipulate you to buy a package.
Yeah.
So you
So
want to be
true.
mindful. Hmm?
I said so
Hmm?
true. So true. True.
You and I see it all the time, right? So be mindful of who's out there, notice who's out there, see what they're doing, but don't sit and watch, right? And the next part is to readjust your mindset to not see people as a threat, because once you start seeing them as a threat, you move into the scarcity mentality, and once you move into a scarcity mentality, you're always rushing and try to grab and bite what you can get, and you get into the shark mentality. And whenever there are shark waters, there is blood, right? So you want to position yourself like, hey, I see you're going to always have shark waters. That just goes along with business. Some people call it a gladiator sport. You're going to always see blood in the water, which means that people are going to fight for the same customer. Someone's going to bite you for the same customer. Someone's going to do something to try to pull a dollar away from you. So you have to continue to be creative, elevate yourself, seek your God, always look for the next, and get out into deeper water, right? And so when you get out into deeper water, then you say to yourself, like, where's another opportunity for us to strengthen and to grow without constantly getting bit and getting hurt? So an example of that would be, some of you are old enough to remember the console game, which was Wii, Wii, from Nintendo, a Wii
Yeah.
game.
Mhm.
Okay, so you all remember when Nana was playing golf or basketball or karaoke or guitar, right? That was all through the Wii console. Wii came about simply because Nintendo and a Sega Genesis says we've cornered the market. Everyone who plays video games buys ours. So we've tapped out. We've got to find a new base. So the question they ask themselves is, do we want to continue to fight in bloody water, or do we want to get a blue ocean strategy and go a little bit further out into the deep? And they said, how about we get people to play video games that never played video games? How do you do that? Let's get Nana. Can we get Nana to play video games? She's 80, she's lonely, but she's got a check and she's got money. How do we convince Nana to play video games? Well, we get her to do karaoke with the kids at Christmas time. Nana got Wii games all across the country. That particular game blew up, and it made millions and millions of dollars. Pick up what I'm putting down here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shark waters happen. They are a necessary part of business, but you don't have to always stay there.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen. So true. So true. Great examples as well. I'm thinking back to the Wii game and to the karaoke. It's so, so true. So, we're at the end of this podcast and we've heard a powerful story of resilience, of learning. I don't want to say failure, I want to say learning, right? Because Nelson Mandela says, and I love this saying, that we never fail, we always win or we learn. And so in the story of so many lessons, life lessons you've learned, and each lesson is in a stage. I believe that destiny goes by stages and we rise to our destiny. And so we've got different stages of destiny. And so we've listened to your different stages of destiny that's brought you to where you are right now. How does that feel for you right now? As you look back over, you've shared this powerful story. How are you feeling about you right now? And the second piece is, how can someone connect with you? We just have a few more minutes, so share that.
Well, after 12 years consistently, right? Because a lot of times people will say, I'm a coach. I have a child care. I sell bananas. Wait, I got a car wash. I'm a
Yeah.
coach. Hold it. I'm cementing your driveway, right? For 12 years, I have consistently delivered business development, leadership development with no breaks, no pauses, no matter what the economy or what I went through personally. That is important because the what I want you to take away from that is that I had to continue to create really great relationships, resilience, bounce back, and this is a skill set that I really want people to catch. Vital piece of growing and sustaining a business. You must forgive and move on quickly.
So good.
Holding a bunch of grudges for people who may or may not have done you wrong, you had a disagreement with, you felt cheated, you felt whatever. All of that happens in those sharp waters. Forgive your adversary quickly. Move on. Move on. All right. Now you want me to know, you want to know how to stay in touch?
I love that though, because forgiveness is really for you. It's not even for the other person. It is really for you. So go ahead and forgive so you could move on, because unforgiveness is a strategy. It's an obstacle that will keep us exactly where we are.
Don't isolate yourself because someone may have broken your heart. It is a part of the shark waters. It is a part of the gladiator sport that comes with business. I love to stay in touch with you. You can find me on all platforms, either as Michelle Snow, Grow with Snow, and certainly please go to
Winning with
our
snow,
site. Hmm? Say it
winning
again.
with snow, and winning with snow.
Yes, Wake Up Winning again. That
Wake
is
up
one of
winning.
our signature. Yes, that's our signature breakfast that will be back very soon. It's seasonal. Dr. Graham was an expert there. So you could look up Wake Up Winning again. We literally just got that together. But growwithsnow.com is the official home where we can connect. And I would love to learn more about your business, established business owners. That's who we work with directly, as well as schools and universities.
Well, I tell you what, everyone, let's give Michelle some love. Make sure you send your comments in. Make sure that you connect. If you know that you need her, don't sit back and say, "Oh no, no." Connect and do something. Make some significant changes. Be very intentional about what you're doing. Remember that this is living a life by design, and we choose because it's already in us. We get to choose, how to live our lives and choose not to live in mediocrity, but really do the great and the powerful things that we have really been called to do. But the choice is always up to us. And so I'm thankful to you, Michelle Snow. If you were at your Nexus Now, you saw her speak there, and I am excited to continue to build a very, very strong relationship with her. And you will be seeing her again, y'all. So look out, look out, look out. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Connect with me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and I can't wait to see you again next time. Take care and God bless. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to Living a Life by Design, the journey back to you, and living 365 days of purpose with host Esther Graham. Listen or watch live every second and fourth Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Discover that what is possible is already in you. God designed a phenomenal life for you. Esther helps you ignite that energy behind your personal journey for a deeper joy and peace, living 365 days of purpose. For more information on living a life by design, visit fddwomen.com.